Hello students, today we are going to study the chapter A Truly Beautiful Mind from our book Beehive. This chapter is about Albert Einstein. He was a great scientist. The title of the chapter A Truly Beautiful Mind refers to Albert Einstein. This is a short biography of his where some of his qualities have been highlighted. Albert's interest in mathematics and physics, and also his humanitarian attribute. The title, A Truly Beautiful Mind, makes one wonder that how can a scientist's mind be beautiful? It is so because in this lesson we come across another aspect of Einstein. He was a humanitarian. He advocated world peace, non-violence, and that is why the title refers to him as a truly beautiful mind. इस चैप्टर में आइंस्टाइन के एक अनदर एस्पेक्ट जो ह्यूमैनिटी से रिलेटेड है वो दिखता है और इसलिए इस चैप्टर का नाम अ ट्रूली ब्यूटीफुल माइंड रखा हुआ है क्योंकि उन्होंने वर्ल्ड पीस, वर्ल्ड गवर्नमेंट, नॉन वायलेंस इन सब को एडवोकेट किया था, इनकी वकालत की थी. Albert Einstein was born on 14th March 1879. He was born in a city named Ulm in Germany. When he was a child, no one could predict that one day he would become a great scientist. He was like all the other children. Albert's mother thought that Albert was a freak because he did not behave, talk, or look like normal people did. He was different from other children of his age. He behaved abnormally. It seemed as if he had lesser intelligence in comparison to other children. Albert's mother thought that the little boy's head was a bit too big in comparison to other children's head. उनकी मम्मी को एल्बर्ट का हेड नॉर्मल चिल्ड्रन से थोड़ा बड़ा लगता था. Albert Einstein started talking when he was 2.5 years of age. Finally, when Einstein started speaking, he used to repeat the words. Einstein remained to himself all the time. He used to play with himself only. He did not mix with the other children of his age and do not play with them, so the other boys called him Brother Boring. From the very beginning, since his childhood, he loved mechanical toys, such toys in which some kind of machinery was used, such as automated cars, automated aeroplanes. When his sister was born and he looked at her, he could not see her feet. He was wondering where the baby's wheels were. That means the feet of the baby. As Albert Einstein used to play with the toys, and all the toys had a set of wheels, to him, Maza seemed to be a toy too, and so he might have thought that where were her wheels. जब उनकी छोटी बहन मज़ा पैदा हुई तो उन्होंने उसको देखा और उनको उसका पैर नहीं दिख रहा था, तो उन्होंने पूछा कि इसके व्हील्स कहाँ हैं. The headmaster of Einstein's school told Einstein's father that Einstein would never be successful in whatever profession he chose. Einstein was a very good violinist. He learned playing the violin at the age of 6 because his mother wanted him to learn to play it. All his life he was an amateur violinist. He played the violin as a hobby, not as a profession. Albert Einstein was a very good student. He went to a school in Munich because his family had moved from Ulm to Munich when he was 15 months old and scored good marks in almost every subject. The school where Einstein went had a very strict discipline which he disliked. Due to that, he often clashed with his teachers' opinion and opposed them. Einstein was so suffocated in that school, he could not follow the strict discipline, and so he left the school forever. When Albert Einstein left the school 1 year before that, his parents had moved to another city, Milan, which is in Italy. Albert was left behind in Munich with his relatives. The school in Munich was very strict. Albert could not follow the discipline over there. He had a long discussion with his family, relatives, and finally, his parents agreed to put him in a school in Switzerland, and the language used there for communication was German. Einstein was good at studies. He was highly gifted in mathematics, so he was exceptionally good in mathematics and he also had interest in physics. Once he finished school, he joined the university in Zurich. Science was not the only thing that appealed to Einstein, who was a very handsome young man. Other than science, he had interest in something else also. Other than maths and physics, Albert Einstein liked one of his fellow students. Her name was Mileva Maric. He thought that she was very clever, sharp, and intelligent. They met at the University of Zurich. Mileva Maric belongs to Serbia, that is why she is called a Serb. She came from Serbia to Switzerland because the university in Zurich was one of the few universities in Europe which gave degrees to female student. मेलिबा जूरिच में इसलिए आई थी कि वो जो यूनिवर्सिटी थी जूरिच में वो फीमेल स्टूडेंट्स को भी डिग्री प्रोवाइड करती थी फॉर एजुकेशन शी हैज़ कम टू Switzerland, Zurich University. Einstein felt that Mileva was a friend because he also liked art, literature, or music. Both shared this common interest. In those days, having interest in art, literature, or music was not considered to be good. So, those people who were interested in art, literature, or music used to call their opponents Philistines. Albert Einstein's family and many people in the university were not in favor of this. So, against such people, Albert Einstein and Mileva Maric unity helped them face the situation. Albert Einstein and Mileva Maric fell in love and they exchanged love letters to express their feelings. They used to write such kinds of letters where they used to mix science with their feelings. At one instance, Einstein talked about his scientific invention and said that he would be very proud on that day when they would finally conclude their paper on the theory of relativity. In the year 1900, Albert Einstein was 21 years of age. and he completed his graduation from the university but was unemployed. From 1900 to 1902, Albert Einstein was working as a teaching assistant and gave private lessons also. Finally, in 1902, he got a job in Bern. Bern is a city in Germany. He got the job of a technical officer in a patents office in Bern. Einstein was supposed to check the inventions done by other people and give them a patent. On the other hand, secretly, he was making his own inventions too. Einstein later said the desk on which he worked was the office of theoretical physics because there only he started working on his inventions. In the year 1905, Einstein published his first paper. It was about special theory of relativity. In this publication, it was written that the measurement of time and distance is not absolute, it depends on something else. According to the theory, if there are two clocks and both are moving, they will not show the same time. One clock will move faster than the other. This theory of relativity gives us this basic formula of physics: E equal to mc square stands for energy. E stands for energy, m for mass of the object, and c for the speed of the light in a vacuum. Vacuum means where there is no air, and speed of light in vacuum is almost 3 lakhs kilometers per second. To put it into simpler words, Einstein said that when you sit with a nice girl for 2 hours, it seems like 2 minutes. On the other hand, when you sit on a hot stove for 2 minutes, it seems like 2 hours. That's relativity. So a person would feel the timing differently. Though he was solving the complicated problems in physics for the world, his personal life started becoming problematic. He started to fail in his personal life. Albert Einstein wanted to marry Mileva Maric soon after he finished his studies, but his mother, Pauline Einstein, was against this. Pauline thought that Mileva Maric, who was 3 years elder to Albert Einstein, was very old for him. मिलेवा 3 इयर्स बड़ी थी आइंस्टाइन से, इसलिए उनकी मम्मी को लगता था कि वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा उनसे ओल्ड है. So Pauline Einstein thought that Mileva was very intelligent to be a wife, and she told Einstein that Mileva was also like a bookworm and was similar to him. As his mother was against this marriage, he cancelled his wedding with Mileva. Albert Einstein married Mileva Maric in the year 1903, and they had 2 sons. Their marriage failed as Mileva Maric was very intelligent. Being a housewife, she could not cope with her ambitions. She could not fulfill her ambitions, and so she started becoming unhappy. Mileva was unhappy from this marriage. She could not fulfill her career dreams. So finally, in the year 1919, after prolonged fighting, both of them separated. Albert Einstein married the second time. He married his cousin Elsa. At the time Einstein married Elsa, another thing coincided. It was Einstein's rise to world fame. Einstein became world famous. Everyone acknowledged him as a great scientist. In the year 1915, he published one more paper which was based on general theory of relativity, which gave a new interpretation to gravity. In the year 1919, there was a solar eclipse which proved that Albert Einstein's general theory of relativity was correct. Albert Einstein had calculated in the year 1915 that in the year 1919 there would be a solar eclipse. Due to it, the apparent position of the stars would change to some extent. His calculation was accurate, so it was announced that Albert Einstein's work was a scientific revolution. Einstein was awarded the Nobel Prize for Physics in the year 1921. He was showered with honor and invitations from all over the world and lauded by the press. It means he was honored and was invited to various places all over the world. Even the press praised him. In 1933, when Germany came under the power of Nazis, the famous Nazi ruler was Adolf Hitler. At that time, Einstein left Germany and shifted to United States of America forever. After 5 years, the Germany discovered the process of nuclear fission, the process through which nuclear bombs or atomic bombs are made. This process was prepared in Berlin. Due to this, all the physicists in America were upset as they feared misuse of the technology. There were many scientists who escaped to America because of fascism. Fascism was a dictatorial concept which was started in Europe from Italy by the rule of Benito Mussolini. All the scientists were afraid that the Nazis could misuse the atomic bomb. Albert Einstein was requested by a colleague, and so he wrote a letter to the President of America, Franklin D. Roosevelt, on 2nd August 1939. He warned him that the atomic bomb, which was developed by Germany, was very powerful. If one of these bombs exploded on any port, it would not only destroy the area but also it would destroy the surrounding territory. This shows Einstein's humanitarian quality. He wanted good for the people, he wanted peace in the world. That is why he wrote his concern to the President of America and warned him. Albert Einstein's letter had an impact on Franklin D. Roosevelt. The Americans developed the atomic bomb secretly and dropped it on two cities of Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The Germans had just developed the atomic bomb. They did not use it on any country, but America did. Lot of destruction took place and Einstein was sickened. He wrote an official letter to the United Nations organization. Albert Einstein proposed to form a world government, but this letter did not bear any fruit. For another 10 years, Albert Einstein was involved in world peace. He was also involved in politics, and his agenda was to stop the countries involved in collecting arms and developing weapons. He campaigned for world peace and democracy. His main agenda was world peace and freedom of people. Einstein could foresee the future. When he died in 1955 at the age of 76, the world celebrated him as a visionary. He was a world citizen and a scientific genius too. So, here we come to the end of this chapter. Thank you.